Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney Bundles, and today's video is going to be all about changing the perspective that you have of yourself. I've been doing mentoring with different entrepreneurs. I do business consultations with entrepreneurs as well. And throughout the year, one thing that really stuck out to me was not only distractions. I made a video a few months ago about distractions and some ways on how you can overcome distractions. However, another thing that I noticed is people don't really see the value that they want others to see in their business and within themselves. And by no means am I saying that you need to change your perspective of yourself in order to get more sales, or change your perspective of yourself in order to appease people. But I am saying that everything is connected toward how you feel and how you view yourself. I think it's really interesting how everyone's life is. And if I look at my life for an example, I notice that the people that I have allowed in, the businesses that I have started, all stemmed from how I viewed my vision. And then the drive and the work behind it, and the motivation, the inspiration, the will to continue no matter what obstacles are thrown in my way, the understanding of being able to pivot my business. Different things that I've encountered have all been based on my perception, how I viewed myself, how I viewed my future, and also how I viewed my business. And so if we look at it at that aspect of your perception pretty much being a driving force in how you move day to day, and also if we look at our business and in our relationships being a product of how we move each day, or the outcomes at least being a product of how we move each day, then we begin to see why perception is so important. So today I want to talk about changing the perception of you, because it all starts from within. If you are interested in this video, be sure to give the video a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed, and let's get right into the video. So the first topic that I want to touch on in this video is, do you see yourself for who you are? There have been so many people that I have mentored that don't really see the value in who they are. They talk a lot about, well, she's offering the same product and he's doing the same thing, and they're not really seeing what they bring to the table. And what I want to say to that is, hone in on who you are and what makes you unique. At the end of the day, I don't care who knows about what I'm doing. I don't care who is tuning in to my ideas or my work. I don't really care who decides to sell hair, who doesn't, who decides to hop on YouTube, who doesn't, because I understand that God has a specific, unique message and a skill set and gifts that he put inside of me. A lot of times we downplay God. We downplay how mighty, magnificent, creative God is. And so if we look at God being God and us being his creation, and thinking about all of the uniqueness that he put inside of each person, we begin to look at businesses different. No matter if there's a million people beside me that are speaking the same message, there's only going to be one Brittney that can say it how Brittney says it. And that's not to say that, oh, Brittney's better than anyone, but it is to say that Brittney is unique from everyone. And so that's the message that I want to hone in on with this first point. You're unique. And until you can see your uniqueness, a lot of things in your life are not going to align. When you look at people's lives, or take your life for an example, and you see the people that you've allowed in for business relationships, we can even take it on a personal aspect. I talk more about the personal connections and relationships on my Patreon through my Girl Talk. So if you're interested, click the link down below and join me over there. There's tons of topics that I'm sure you would resonate with, or you know someone that could resonate with the topics, but I have a lot of good personal topics on that channel or on that platform. But like I was saying, if you look at how your life is and you think to yourself, I'm not really getting the respect that I want from this business partner, or I'm not really getting the respect that I want from the business industry that I'm in, or I'm not getting the respect that I want from the people that I have in my life, you have to ask yourself, do you respect you? A lot of times we expect others to see things in us that we don't really even see. And so we walk around with like an empty suitcase mentality. And I want to tell you all a story. So I was working with someone, not working, but I was talking to someone, and they mentioned that they like the look of luxury. They like the look of class. And I think a lot of people like a luxury look. Louis Vuitton wouldn't be in business if they didn't. Gucci wouldn't be in business if they didn't. And, all the other name brands that people rave about wouldn't be, who they are if people didn't care about luxury looks and looking classy, right? Also, it goes into how you maintain yourself, your appearance. All of that is important. I definitely, can see the importance in how you present yourself, right? Especially being an entrepreneur, being in sales, your appearance definitely has an impact in, what you're doing to an extent. However, think about this. Think about someone wanting to have the look, but be empty on the inside, meaning I want to walk around with a suitcase, but there's nothing in the suitcase. Or I'm going to build an office, but there's no work to put in the office. Or I'm going to go out and meet a lot of people, but there's no substance in the relationships that you're building with these people. There's no real foundation. Or you may know people that go out and they're like, I'm going to create a family, but there's really no love within that family. Or I'm going to go out here and I'm going to start a business, but there's really no connection to that business. It's just all for looks and all for show. At the end of the day, no matter what it looks like, what you're trying to portray to other people, it's still not going to ring true to you. So at the end of the day, truth is always going to prevail. Who you see yourself as, regardless of if you dress yourself up in this, regardless of if you take pictures, sending a whole bunch of products or packages out, regardless of what you do to make it look like it is, if it's not, it's still not. And you know the truth when you lay your head on the pillow. And whether people know or not, people are able to gauge how you feel about yourself based on how you conduct yourself. People can tell. And so when we're looking at the aspect of business, I talk a lot about this on my podcast, the Brittney Bundles podcast, which is also linked below. The foundation of anything that we do is very essential. And a lot of people rush to what it looks like. They rush to the dollar amount and skip the steps of building. And building is so fundamental. You can have whatever you want, but at some point, you have to ask yourself, do I really see the value in what I'm doing? And do I see the value within myself? Am I asking others to look at me this way without me actually feeling this way about myself? Because at the end of the day, we all are accountable for what we do. We all are accountable for the actions that we make. And so being aware of who we are, knowing that we want something different, knowing that we want this respect, or knowing that we want this these accolades, or we want this support, we have to ask ourselves, are we being that person to ourselves? Because if you can't see the value in yourself, it's going to be difficult for some people to see the value in you as well. Now, you'll always have people that are deep thinkers, right? And they'll be able to see your value before you can see it. But for the other group of people, they are going to see what you push out. And even if you're flooding yourself with all of these fake facades, at the end of the day, truth prevails. So a lot of times people can see through and will see through the act, and they'll be able to see you. And all I'm saying is, if you're not happy with you, do the work to become the person that you want to be. Become the person that you want others to see you as. Do the work. Don't skip the steps. Don't shoot for anything that is materialistic only, or that's vain, but really decide what kind of person you want to be, what kind of entrepreneur you want to be, what kind of business owner you want to be, what kind of business you want to conduct, and move accordingly. So that is my first point. Do you see you for who you are? Or are you just trying to fill yourself up with a lot of things that you think people want to hear and see without any of that ringing true to the person that you really are and the business that you're really creating? Number 2 is, does your business appeal to your liking? So a lot of times we look around and, when I'm doing mentoring, I see people, or I hear people that say, hey, I don't really feel confident in what I'm offering. I don't like my website. I don't like this. I don't like that. And instead of them wanting to change it, they're wanting to, how can I say this? They're still going forward with it, and they're trying to convince themselves that this is what they like. This is what, this is the best they can do. So they're just going to run with it. Now, to an extent, I understand where that thinking is coming from, because I also have the mentality of use what you have, to get started. If you don't have all the bells and whistles, that's not an excuse to not get started. You know what I mean? If you are still waiting on something, that's not an excuse to not get started. So I'm all for that. I completely understand that. But also I'm for, if you don't like something, work towards changing it. So there are some things that we can change. If you don't like let's see, how your website flows. There are ways, there are tools, there are resources that you can get to help you fix that. If you don't like the way that your packages are, there's ways that you can fix that. Now, I do want to say this, you want to be careful when you are looking at fixing certain things, because a lot of times we'll get wrapped up in how things look and we're failing on the foundation. There are a lot of pretty packages that aren't getting sold. There are a lot of pretty masterpieces that are still on the shelf. There are a lot of cool looking websites that don't get any traffic. And so I'm not saying focus just on what you don't like and fix that entirely without looking at the foundation. But I am saying that if you don't like something, we have the ability to change it. We have the ability to get what it is we do like or work towards that. Same with the kind of people we allow in our life. A lot of times we are looking for our friends and family to be our customers, our supporters. And like I've said in some videos before, there's nothing wrong with having friends and family be your support system. However, if you're planning to take your business to heights, unforeseen heights, the chances of your family members and your friends doing all of that and you not having to do any network outside of them to meet new people and attract new customers, it's highly unlikely. And so for me, I don't focus so much on who isn't supporting anymore. I used to just be focused on, wow, why aren't they supporting? Wow, why didn't they shop with me? Wow, I really don't have as much support as I thought I should have. But at the end of the day, I am not for everybody. And that's a term that we have to get to too. My business is not for everyone. Once I saw the value in what I'm offering, once I saw the value of myself, I no longer was available for just everybody. Now, I'm not saying that I don't want to work with everyone, but I'm saying that I know realistically, I'm not going to work with everyone. Everyone's not going to resonate with the services that I offer nor provide. Everyone's not going to resonate with the products that I offer. Everyone's not going to resonate with me, and that's okay. This day and age, we are trained in a way to be people pleasers. Let's please everyone instead of really realizing what we offer and being okay with the fact that our prices are set here, our hours are here, our task as far as what we can offer on our website is here, and just making sure that we're setting clear boundaries. This is how I operate my business. Now, am I saying that you shouldn't be open to feedback? No, I'm not saying that. But to constantly feel like we have to change and be tugged and pulled based on what others want is not going to leave you feeling fulfilled. So, like I mentioned before, be the person that you want others to see you as. Don't just carry around the empty suitcase analogy, but actually be that person. Build yourself to that person so that you are proud of who you are. And then also see the value in what you bring to the table. There's lots of people in this world, but there's only one you, and that counts for something. A lot of times we're so focused on being like everyone else and trying to be the next it person that we get lost in the sauce, if I can say that. We get lost in it and we diminish and, deplenish who we are as a person. And, we wonder why we're not able to sustain different aspects of our life when really, in order to sustain certain aspects of your life, you need it to be present. So you have to ask yourself, am I present? Does my life reflect my self-esteem? If I don't like certain things in my life, why are they here? Why is my life like this? And what can I do to transform and start making the necessary changes to move my life toward a position that I'm proud of, that I want it to be in? Third thing that I want to point out in regards to changing your perspective of you is asking yourself, how far are you willing to push? Now, I recently started training. I hired a personal trainer. If you follow this channel, you already know that. I've been mentioning it in like every video because I'm super proud of it. Like I'm really proud of myself for taking the step to actually become active. And it's guided, so I'm not just going in there winging it. Nothing wrong with that. But I wanted something that was guided, and I wanted to know exactly what I'm working on, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and things like that. So that works for me at this point. But when I was working out, I remember like my first or second day, I really did not think that I could do the exercises after my warm up. Like after my warm up, I was like, okay, this has to be the full workout because I see that you all are doing it, but there's no way that I'm going to be able to go ahead and work out after this warm up. Like I'm already exhausted. I did my workout for the day. I'm ready to go home. And we had about like 45 minutes left of the training session. And at that point, I didn't care if, I didn't get my money's worth from that appointment or not. I just was tired. I'm like, you know what? I'm ready to go. And my trainer kept pushing me. He kept saying, okay, Brittney, why are you here? What are you working towards? You know, you can do this, you can push yourself further. And he said something that I've heard before, but it really resonated with me when I was in the gym. And he said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You can do all things through Christ. And so I thought about that and I said, you know what, you're right. So I continue to push myself further than what I ever anticipated I could do. Like, I was someone that didn't even participate in gym. When I was a kid, I would try to find ways to get out of gym, which a lot of children were looking forward to gym. I was not looking forward to gym at all. I didn't want to do all of that. And so I wasn't really active, you know, and that trickled over to my adult life. And so me being able to push myself not only showed me that I can push myself further physically than I anticipated, but that mentally I can push myself further too. And so asking yourself, how far are you willing to push your business idea? How far are you really able and willing to push yourself? How far are you willing and able to push this life that you want? Because we get one shot at life. Like, there's not do-overs, you know. There's options and opportunity for change. And so that's why it's really important that when we see something that we don't like, or when we see our lives going in directions, our business is going in directions that we don't like, it's very important that we take that by the reins, we identify what's going on, and that we look at different ways to correct those areas so that we can continue pushing forward towards the life that we want. So ask yourself, how far are you willing to push? How bad do you really want it? You know, everyone says that they want to, I heard this quote years ago, be a boss until it's time to pay the employees. So in essence, you know, just because you want the look of a business owner, just because you want to carry around that briefcase, are you able to and willing to push yourself to actually get the clientele to fill the briefcase? Are you willing and are you able to actually get work, do the work so that you can have an office that's being utilized instead of just looked at? Are you willing and able to push your website so that not only are you going to the website and you're saying, I don't like these colors, but now you also are able to look and say, hey, you know, I do like the traffic that I'm getting, and I do like the amount of orders that I've gotten this week. So yes, I can change this and I'm going to work toward changing this. But these are some things that I'm able to see are prospering with my website. These are some things that I've worked for and I'm able to see my return. So just asking yourself, how willing are you able to push yourself? How bad do you want this perception of you and your business? How bad do you really want success, and whatever that means to you? The fourth thing that I want to talk about is, how ready are you? So a lot of times I hear entrepreneurs in the mentoring sessions that I do talk about how ready they are to be done with their 9-to-5, how ready they are to take their business by the reins, to be a full-time entrepreneur, how ready they are to align their life correctly, get some people out of their lives that aren't supportive, start being focused. Okay, so they talk about all of that, which are, you know, they're great aspirations, great goals, good mindset. But one thing that I want to add to that is, how ready are you for the changes that you're wanting to happen? Like right now today, if you were blessed with enough money through your website to quit your job and you quit your job, how ready are you to become a full-time entrepreneur? Now, some of you may say, I'm ready, I'm fully ready. But think about this in this way. Are you really focused, and are you driven enough to hone in on your business and work that full time? Or are you someone that has the free time and won't use the free time to really build your business, but instead, because you have this free time now and you made good money through your website, you're going to use the time that you should have been working to go off and go shopping, or you're going to use that time to get involved in some things that you shouldn't be involved in, or you're going to use those things, that time to sleep in. Now, by no means am I saying that you shouldn't allow yourself rest. I'm not saying that at all. One of the perks of being an entrepreneur is being able to have more time, and is being able to structure your time, in my opinion, according to what it is you need to structure it to. So when I was working the specific 9-to-5, I remember I couldn't just get off of work when I wanted to. I couldn't pick them up from school when I wanted to, because I was at work and I didn't want to lose my job. And so looking at my entrepreneur position, I'm able to do what I want to do. Like, I don't have to miss any of my children's events. I don't have to miss anything that I don't want to miss. You know what I mean? So it gives me that freedom there. But I still have to be focused. So if you go to my channel, you see me still uploading consistent content. If you go to my social media pages, you see me still uploading consistent content. If you are local here in my city, you still see me going to the post office. So you see these things. And you have to ask yourself, all the stuff that I'm wanting to happen, am I really honestly ready for it to happen? And if I'm not, I'm going to work on preparing to become ready instead of just focusing on why I'm not there. What can I do to prepare myself so that when I do get there, because we want to think positively and you want to think truth. And the truth is, if you stick to something long enough, you apply a solid foundation, if you are consistent, if you make sure that you're making the right connections and you're marketing your business correctly, more than likely you're going to see the results that are going to take you to the position that you want to be in. But again, are you ready to be in that position? There are a lot of people that have become overnight successes and really don't know how to handle that, don't know how to navigate with the freedom and the money that they have. I mentioned this in another video. There was a show that they used to have years ago where they would go to poverty communities and drop off a load of money, and then they would come back and check on them, and they would notice a lot of people were in the same position. Yeah, they acquired more things. They may have bought a car or bought a home, but at the end of the day, as far as their lifestyle and as far as what their life is producing, it's in the same place. So that's why I was mentioning in the beginning too, it's not all about what it looks like, it's not all about what you can buy, but it's really about the foundation and what are you learning that is going to transform your perception of yourself, as well as give you the perception that you're wanting others to have in order to support and work with your business. Now, the last thing that I'm going to go over is, can you handle the success you desire? In other words, like I mentioned a moment ago, everyone is wanting something out of life, but when you get it, can you handle it? For example, there are people that are really wanting to become homeowners, right? I was one of them. And then I bought my first home. I rushed into it looking back at it. I probably should have looked some more before I bought my first home. But when I purchased my first home, I was super excited. It was an accomplishment, and I'm not going to take anything away from that. However, once I actually got in the home, was I ready? Could I handle all of the responsibilities that came with the house, like everything that broke? Because I was used to calling maintenance. Like every time something broke, I'm gonna call the maintenance man. But that's not the case when you purchase, a home. So now I'm looking at contractors. Now I'm looking at paying out of pocket. Now I'm like, wow, well, I don't have $15,000 to throw out to get this fixed, but I need it fixed. So now I'm looking at different loan options, and I'm looking at a lot of different things now because I'm in a whole different ball game. So although I desired to become a homeowner, was I ready at that point financially? Probably not. And so that's the same analogy that we have with our businesses, with our lives. There are a lot of people that rush out and they're like, I want to be married today, as an example. But are you really ready and willing to be committed to one person? Or business-wise, are you willing to stick with your business when you haven't gotten any sales in months? Are you willing to stick with your business when you haven't generated the revenue that you wanted to generate? Are you willing to stay committed when you see that someone on social media or one of your neighbors have made a lot more than you have, and you're like, man, this is not working? Are you willing? Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to stay up sometimes at later hours to make sure that you get done what you need to get done? Are you willing to be consistent with your business? Are you willing to stay creative? So there's things like that. Like, can you handle the success you desire? A lot of times we want all of this stuff, but in reality, we're really not ready for it. And that's why it's really important that we take heed of the journey that we're on. We learn as much as we possibly can during our transformation, during our journey. What have you learned? Even if you have not received any sales, what have you learned? Are you motivated to try some new things? Even if you haven't succeeded at, I don't know, whatever your goal was for your business. Maybe your goal was to make over 100,000 and you didn't make it this year. Is that going to deter you from becoming your definition of success? So a lot of times, like I said, it's more than what you can do. It's more than what you accumulate, but it's deeper than that. It's having a perception of who you are in line, and also knowing who you are and letting others see that as well. Now, no matter how you view yourself, there's always going to be people that don't view yourself like you do. But once you can actually see the value that you bring to the table, you are going to attract different people, different business opportunities. And when I say people are so important to business because people are who you are looking to support your business. Even if they're not people that you know, a lot of times they're not going to be people that you know. The goal is for you to reach out to people that you don't know. However, the bottom line is, Once you look at yourself for who you are, a lot of things are going to change. A lot of things are going to be able to be more solid, and you're going to be able to implement more boundaries within your personal life as well as your business to move you towards success. When you're still uncertain about your value, when you're still uncertain about your uniqueness, a lot of times we allow the uncertainty to play a huge part, and we get wrapped up in who's doing what and who's looking at what. At the end of the day, it's just you. It's just you. Get to the idea of thinking that it's just you. You are in charge of what you do. You can't control anyone else. You don't know what anyone else is thinking. You don't know what anyone else is going to do. But you know what goal you have. You know what skills you have. And if you don't know what skills you have, if you don't know what you should be working on, pray about it. Ask God. Think about what you want to do. Think about what you're good at and move forward. So I really hope that this video helped. I hope that it sparks some sense of motivation or inspiration in your life. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.